Hello, this is a video recording of my Paganicon 2024 presentation called Meditation for the Tarot. It is a presentation that I put together that is loosely based on my book, Meditation and Tarot, Connect with the Cards to Develop Your Inner Vision. I had enough requests at the end of the presentation for additional supplemental material or also to get the presentation. I know there are ways to do that with a QR code. I wasn't quite prepared for that. So I thought we'll put it up on YouTube and that way everybody can enjoy it. It was such a wonderful conversation and group that attended this presentation, a very successful event altogether. So I'm super excited to put this up. And with that, I am going to hop over to my PowerPoint. And so, yes, this presentation is Meditations for the Tarot. I'm Chanda Parkinson. I'm a tarot reader, astrologist, ritualist, educator, and author of 2 books, Meditation for Psychic Development and Meditation and Tarot. So tarot is a way to access ancient wisdom, a psychological tool, a divination tool, a way to connect with your inner voice and the poetry of the soul. And it's also a doorway into the human condition. And various different parts of the human condition, such as accomplishment, as in the 6 of Wands, the 3 of Swords representing betrayal. And it was interesting because when I was putting this slideshow together, and I remembered very well this photo from the Great Depression, and it instantly popped into my head, and I went looking for it, and I felt that this so beautifully and adequately represented this idea of betrayal by society, betrayal by nature. And so, yeah, I just wanted to comment on that. The betrayal can show up in many forms, and the 3 of Swords isn't just disappointment from others. It can also be a greater force, like being betrayed by nature. The Tower representing change. The 5 of Cups representing grief and loss. The Sun representing joy. The 2 of Cups representing longing. The 9 of Swords, mental imbalance. The Lovers representing passion. Death representing rebirth. And you can see throughout this slideshow aspects of the human condition represented in the tarot, also showing up through art, throughout time, throughout the course of our history, through photography, through paintings, through sculpture. That it is truly the ways in which we represent aspects of the human condition throughout the course of history. And we can see those things. We can see evidence of tarot and the themes that are in tarot, permeated throughout time, throughout art. And rejection, as in the 5 of Pentacles. So the interesting thing as well about tarot is that many of them actually have tie-ins to different mythological figures and also folklore. And so they can beautifully work as guides and allies for us on our own personal journeys. And so at some point in this presentation, I'm going to lead you through a meditation from my book that actually has us come into contact with one or more of the tarot cards as guides and allies. And because they embody such rich stories that have been prevalent throughout cultures, different cultures around the world and throughout time, they are embedded in a part of our collective unconscious, those mythological stories, tales through folklore, and they've been passed along through time. So we can also gather a great deal from how the cards also intersect with various different deities. And it's just to sort of prove to ourselves or kind of reinforce this idea that we can go to the tarot for wisdom and for guidance. And through an animistic lens, they can come to life and work within us and through us. And that is how those of us that have witchcraft practices embody them and into our magical practices and can use them as guides and allies. And you can also do that as well. So for example, the chariot is associated with multiple different gods, goddesses, deities, but one of the most prevalent is Freya. And Freya, who is often seen riding a chariot and pulled by two cats. And then we have the Empress. And again, all of these cards are have multiple different deity references. So if these aren't your deities or they're not beings that inspire you, you might find different sorts of beings that you enjoy connecting their imagery to. And it's not mandatory. You can work with the cards as they are. But this is just an example to showcase how throughout the course of time we've put it together. We've put all the pieces together, the symbolism of the tarot and how it intersects with, those mythological folkloric representations. The Empress so beautifully represents the goddess Gaia. And then we have the Hermit, who I loved. I found this picture representation online of Prometheus, and they are very, very different representations of the same being. And then we have Hecate, represented by the High Priestess, the goddess of witches. And we have the Sun, represented by Apollo. And then we have the World, represented by Hermes. So these are just some examples. Certainly, I've not been able to go through all 78 cards of the tarot deck, but you'll find in particular with the 22 major arcana, it is very possible to find, locate, and work with those that inspire you, that speak to you, that are calling to you and wish to work with you. So for the sake of this presentation, I thought what we would do is actually calculate based on numerology our own personal tarot card or cards for the year. We're still in 2024, but you can use this formula to calculate and to locate whatever card for that particular year that you might want to work with. And so this exercise is based on numerology. It's based on utilizing your day of birth, your month of birth, and the current calendar year. And we will then reduce those numbers down. I would like to say that some of you may have more than one card because your date of birth added to the year might reduce down to a 2-digit number that is between 1 and 21. And you also want to reduce it down to a single digit. So if you have 2 cards, you can then decide which one is a closer fit to you, which one you'd rather work with for that year. So hang tight, grab a notebook and a pen for this next piece. So this is how we work with the numerology of the tarot. And you definitely want to have a notebook or a journal for this exercise. So first, what I want you to do is write down your month of birth numerologically, 1 through 12. And then I want you to write down your day of birth. And actually, you don't write down your year of birth. We'll skip that step. You want to write down the current year. So the current year, which is 2024, that was a blip on my my PowerPoint, which I'm not going to go back and redo. Thank you. Working with all the elements here. Thank you for bearing with me. That was a glitch or a mistake. We're going to work with the current calendar year, which is 2024. So we'll just skip that one. So I put an example in to this particular presentation. So let's say you're someone who's born on December 29th. So what you're going to do is write down the number 12, the number 29, and then you're going to add the 2 digits together. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And then you're going to add the second 2 digits or the second digits together. And if it's only 1 digit, just carry it over. But we have 9 plus 2 is 11. And then we want to further reduce because we don't want to be working with any 2-digit numbers. We want to keep reducing it down to 1 digit. So we carry the 3 over here, and then we add 1 plus 1 is 2. Then we add these 2 digits together and we get 5. So once again, just to review, you want to put down your month and your day of birth, add them together, and reduce down. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 9 plus 2 is 11. We don't want 2 digits, so we carry the 3 over. 1 plus 1 equals 2. We add the 2 single digits together to be 5. And if I added these 2 digits together and we got a double digit, we would want to further reduce that down. You always want to end up with a single digit. So adding the year 2024 plus 5 is the next step. So the year is 2024, so we have 4 plus 2 equals 8. So we carry that digit over, plus 5 equals 13, which reduces down to 4. But since we are now to this final stage, and we know that we have 21 major arcana cards to work with, we may want to keep and hang on to 13 and 4 just to see which cards those represent. So now that you've got your number, and if you need to pause this video for a moment so that you can finish calculating what number you'll be working with, that's fine. You can go ahead and do so. So here is a picture of the major arcana. So nobody's going to have the Fool. Nobody does because it's the number 0. The World is the number 21. So you can see in the major arcana cards that the little Roman numerals are at the top of the card. We start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We go 1 through 5 here, 6 through 10 here, 11 through 15, and 16 through 21. So you want to go now and find which card you're working with. On the previous page, we had 13. So that person's card would be 13, which is death, and then reduced down to 4, and number 4 is the Emperor. So the person who was reflected by the prior number here has 13 and 4, may decide that they don't want to work with the death card. They would rather just work with number 4, which is the Emperor. So I want you to now narrow down and locate which card or cards you'll be working with for the purposes of this exercise and this meditation. Who is going to become your guide, your location, as we get to the point of the meditation, which is to actually enter the story of the card and get acquainted with the card and whoever is there to give you and grant you guidance. So now a part of this aspect is also working with the element of each card. So here we are putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and I promise it all will come together. It all has a tremendous placed, they all have parts to play in our meditation. They're all going to act as beings and helpers along our journey when we get to the meditation. And so I want you to actually locate which element is associated with your tarot card for the year. So the Fool, of course, nobody has the Fool, but the Fool is ruled by Aquarius, and that is ruled by the air element. The Magician is Gemini, air. The High Priestess is ruled by this zodiac sign Cancer and is also the water element. The Empress is Libra and air. The Emperor is Aries and fire. The Hierophant is Taurus and earth. The Lovers is Gemini and air. The Chariot is Cancer and water. Strength, Leo, fire element. The Hermit is Virgo and earth. The Wheel of Fortune is Sagittarius, fire. Justice is Libra and air. The Hanged Man is Pisces and water. Death is water. Temperance is fire. The Devil is earth. The Tower is fire. The Star is air. The Moon is water. The Sun is fire. Judgment is water, and the World is earth. So I'm going to go back just one more time for review, not to go through it all again, but just in case you didn't locate your card or cards. All we're looking for is the element. What particular element are they in? We are going to utilize the element as a vehicle to transport us through our guided journey meditation. And so you're going to want to grab on to which element is associated with your card for the year. Make sense? Okay. And then water, fire, water, and earth. So now you're adding to the pieces of the puzzle. Remember, you're going back now. We know you have your card. You have your date of birth reduced down to a number. You've located it here, which card or cards are yours. Then we've located now the element that we're working with, and you might have more than one element. And then now we're to the part where we want to actually assign. How about assign a particular vehicle that is associated with each of those elements. So the element of air is associated with the intellect. It's associated with mental capacities. It's associated with communication. So for air element people, you might want, or air element cards, you might want to select a sky creature, like a bird, like an eagle or a raven or a cardinal, or a book or a scroll, because those are also connected to air, or a besom or a broom for witchy folks who you want to travel through the sky. You want to choose one of those things, kind of let yourself be inspired by the air element and what is kind of popping into your imagination to utilize as a vehicle through your journey meditation. And then earth folks, you want to select perhaps a land dweller or an ancestor to walk with you over the earth. Objects of the earth, maybe you want to invite Gaia to walk with you and be a vehicle to help you through your journey meditation. For water folks, you might want to choose a sea creature or a mermaid. I mean, a mermaid would be absolutely phenomenal. What a cool symbol and way to go in a journey meditation. Or you could ride on the back of a whale or a shark or some other mystical creature of the sea. You might want to work with crystals that are associated with the water element, such as the amethyst or clear quartz. So give that a minute to draw your inspiration and write down what's popping into your mind. And then simple things that are associated with a fire element, a wand, a phoenix, or perhaps a dragon, or perhaps some other being or a representation of the fire element that works for you. Think about that and just let that kind of bring some inspiration for you. And don't overthink it. Give yourself like a minute to kind of ponder it, but really go with your first impression, go with your first instinct. So now we're going to put it all together. So for example, card number numbers for the year. Mine is May 30th. So I'm adding 5 plus 30 plus 2024, which for me reduces all the way down to a 16 and a 7. So that for me is the Tower and the Chariot. Those are my personal cards for the year. So just as an example, now you're putting it all together. The Tower is ruled by the fire element and the Chariot is ruled by the water element. Okay, so I like both of those elements and I actually would like to work with both of them. I'm feeling that inspiration. It's hitting me that it could really be advantageous in my journey meditation for me to work with both of those. So I'm going to go for it. And then I'm choosing a vehicle for this journey, and I'm actually going to use a cauldron. It's a tool that I use often in my own personal practices. And so it's a container that also can hold both fire and water. And so now I've put all the pieces together and I am actually ready to go. I'm ready to go into the journey meditation. So on the guided meditation journey, I just want to set this up briefly, and then we're going to shift and transition to get you comfortable, super comfortable, so you can go into this journey and guided meditation. So what's going to happen essentially is you're going to join the story of the card. You're going to arrive in the story of the card, of the tarot card. You're going to arrive there on the vehicle for transportation that you chose. Mine is a cauldron. Yours might be a bird or a mermaid or a sea creature or a land dweller, or some other creature that feels good to you. And if you don't want it to be associated with that particular element, it's okay not to change it up, but I just want you to feel super comfortable going with whatever transportation works for you and feels good to you. We're going to invite those in the card to meet with us. If there are characters in the card, to meet with us. If there aren't characters in the card, we're going to be exploring and kind of that scene is going to come to life on our inner vision. And we're going there for the purpose to invite collaboration, to restoring a sense of balance in our lives, to igniting our own creative power, and for that card and those beings and the scene to lend direction and support for our lives. And so before we do that, I would actually like you to just stop for just a moment. I'm going to be quiet, and give yourself just a couple of minutes to do some questions for reflection here before we go in, because there is a purpose, there is an outcome that we sort of want to achieve, or I should say the objective to going into this guided meditation process is to really begin to understand how the card or cards that you have coming up for you this year, how might they intersect with your life at this moment. And so considering the number of the card and also the title of the card, even if you know nothing about tarot right now, but you're looking at this card, you're looking at the image of the card, and you're wondering to yourself, how does this intersect? Like, I got the Tower and I got the Chariot. And the Tower card is definitely about like big change. You know, it's change. It is definitely change. It's change that can be spontaneous. It can be exciting. It can be a little disruptive. And then I have the Chariot, which is a gateway, you know, to an opening, to a pathway of possibility coming into my life. And I really am digging the vibe of both of those, because sometimes I'm a little stuck in my ways and a little stubborn, and I think the Tower might be a good swift kick in the pants to get some things going and get some things done, and to really allow myself to embrace some new changes in my life. this year, so I'm digging it. So I can see how those cards are starting to intersect with my life right now. There is definitely some change in the air. And also, because we're in the midst of 2024, I can absolutely see how the Tower and also how the Chariot have already influenced my life, how those energies have been working with me up to this point. So then ask yourself also, like, can working with the energy or element of this card support you at this moment, and how? So the water element or fire element for me, that comes from the tarot and the Chariot. Water is helping me get in touch with my emotion. And to kind of reflect on some of the other elements, water is emotion and intuition. Air is intellect, communication, thought processes. You know, we have the earth, which is a material world. It's values, our sense of belonging, and what we've built, or the foundations that we stand on, represent earth. And then we have fire, and fire is it's our passion, it's creativity, it's action. And so how is your particular element and the energy of that supporting you at this time in your life? How can you use that, harness that energy, and utilize that, not only just through your meditation journey, but also on the flip side through the rest of your life, you know, through the rest of your year. And so then I also want you to reflect on this question: what guidance would you love to receive from the ally or the guide or the wisdom held in that card? So take just a couple of moments now and take a few notes, do a little reflection, take your time. Good. Okay, now I'm going to set up the guided meditation. And I want you to consider this if you've never done guided meditation before, and in particular with what I'm suggesting, which is to join the story of the card. It's going to be sort of like Alice Through the Looking Glass, or Alice in Wonderland, when she goes into the characters of the story in the book that she was reading, or the characters in Narnia when they go through the coat closet, when they go through the fur coat closet into another realm. And so I want you to just imagine that that's sort of how the scene might unfold for you through this process. That's what you're doing. You'll be brought to sort of the edge of a clearing, and then you're going to go into the scene of the card and that you're working with. And if you have a deck of tarot and you can pull those cards out, even better. If you can have them out, maybe you've already done that. That would have been good to suggest at the beginning of this. I'll set that up well in the instructional component of this presentation. So what I would like you to do is just for a moment, get super comfortable in your body and relax, and let any tension go around your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, and just start by taking some nice deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. I want you to imagine while you're breathing that you have beautiful, elastic, golden cords of light attached to the bottoms of each of your feet. And those golden cords of light stretch all the way down to the center of the earth. And so as you imagine now the oxygen filling your body, healing and rejuvenating you, with your out breath, you can release down your grounding cords any energy, trapped energy, toxic energy stored anywhere in your body, in your mind, in your heart, that you would like to release from your body now. Allow this relaxation to sweep over your head, your shoulders, your torso, over your arms, hips, legs, feet. Feel waves of this relaxation rolling down your body from the top of your head to the tip of your toes, and experience the release permeating each cell of your body. This initial breathing exercise does not need to take more than a few minutes, just connecting, grounding, centering. And for a moment, I want you to bring the image of the card or the cards into your mind that you're working with on your meditation journey today. Put them in your heart at the moment, and you'll come back to them in a little while. Pay attention to any musings pulsing through your consciousness and psyche. You're just watching and observing now as you enter into a place that's in nature. Maybe it's a place you've been before. Maybe it's a place you love to go, and you feel yourself now gliding into that space, a place in nature. It's like you're actually there. You heighten your senses now to hearing and feeling and seeing what there is to hear and feel and see in this place. As all of the sights and sounds and feelings and sensations surround you now, this becomes like a sanctuary of comfort and support on your meditation journey. And notice now that the vehicle that you chose to work with you in this guided meditation approaches you here. For me, it's a cauldron. For you, it might be something different. And I see and approach my magical cauldron that can take me places you also see and approach. Get acquainted with your particular vehicle. Keeping your breath slow and steady now. Feel the energy of this vehicle now, willing to work with you. And as you feel more ready to embark on this journey together, you are swept up by this vehicle and taken to the very edge of this place in nature, just to the edge. Ready in a moment to jump into the story, the setting, and the scene of the tarot card. That is your card for 2024. And you wait with eager anticipation, and at the edge, you jump off into the card, and suddenly you find yourself surrounded by the landscape, the colors, the imagery. Imagine and feel the figures and the symbols in the card becoming life-sized in your vision, in your senses. You are now in the story of the card. You are becoming a part of it. You get to observe what's going on or feel or sense. If you don't see, you might just feel, or you might just know you're there. And now it's time to interact with the characters, the symbols, and the landscape. Take a moment in silence now to explore this place. Experience it all for yourself. What's happening now? Is there anyone with you? Notice how it feels to interact with this place. Take in a full, deep breath and feel your connection here. Become one of the characters, or maybe even one of the symbols in the card. Notice how it feels to join the story rather than trying to understand the card just from a visual place. Insights begin to emerge now as you interact and you bring your life experiences, the questions that are in your heart to this place. What might this place have to offer you? What is it that you need? And find it here. You can find it here. This is your journey. This is your quest. Be clear about what you are asking the characters in this place to provide for you, or what you are seeking and asking from this card. Take one more pause now to look around you. Be aware of what it is in this scene that would make you feel better or give you energy. Something that you can bring back, something that you can utilize in your life, maybe a nugget of wisdom or a tool or emotional nurturing and comfort. Allow yourself to change or manipulate the story as you see fit in order for the scene you are experiencing to go the way you want it to go. And breathe. Be present once more with the images and symbols of the card as it begins to decrease in size now. As the scene begins to fade, you are starting to come back through the vehicle and with the vehicle that you came in on. Back to your place in nature that is a sanctuary of comfort and support for you. Back, slowly returning into your body, thanking the vehicle and those guides or allies that came with you to work with you in this place. Take a couple of nice deep breaths and ground in your body. Slowly open your eyes. This exercise is from Meditation and Tarot Connect with Cards to Develop Your Inner Vision. You can find this book on my website, chandaparkinson.com, Chanda Parkinson.com. Thank you so much for participating in this presentation. I want to give you a few tips to walk away with for today and how to work with the energies and all the information that you experienced. You can take some time to do some journaling. That would be a wonderful way to work with this. And or if you weren't ready to come back and you were just getting started because you would like to spend some more time there, you can go back. You can take yourself back into the meditation, into that space. Just make sure that you ground your energy, move through that space with your vehicle, come back safely, ground yourself back in your body. Otherwise you might feel a little lightheaded or dizzy. Journey meditations can do that because you're traveling to other places and experiencing other things. But I would really sit with this and go back to your notes and do some journaling and write down what you received. Feel free to go back and extend this journey should you choose to, should you want more information, and spend some time drawing some conclusions about the information that you received. You can use this with any of the tarot cards in the tarot deck. It's especially powerful with the major arcana. But if you want to draw another card in a month or do a card per month and utilize this exercise to even do a monthly meditation, you can do that. You can work with any of the cards. I set us up in the numerology for the year to work with the card energy for an entire year. But you can draw cards at random from your deck and join the story in those cards. And they don't have to just be the major arcana. You can work with minor cards in the suits. Those are oftentimes quite intricate, and the scenes are super delightful and rich and full. And so utilize this as a jump off point to your own creativity and inspiration. Thanks again for watching this. I hope it was helpful. Drop me a note and let me know what you think. Take care.